then we can't get wealthy. If you don't own this, if you don't own part of America, you can't be wealthy in America. See, we are not going to be the company that just bring people in and say, make a quick hustle and make you a few dollars, and everything is all right because you made a few dollars. That's not what MyEcon was designed to be. And that's not what we do. Does that make sense? And we're never going to change that. Because that's what we see. Here's the reality, okay? If you had $1, this is how important this is, okay? If you had $1 in 1955, and you said, let's go to breakfast, no big deal. Go have breakfast, have a few pennies left over. If you said, let's go to breakfast this morning, if you put this $1 under your mattress and left it there to 1950, since 1955 to this morning, and you said, let's go to breakfast, you're in trouble. See, good assets, just average, the stock market has grown 9.5% a year for 150 years. That's all the crashes. When the market crashed in 1929, it went from 300 to 42. What they do is they take 30 companies, a gentleman by the name of Dow, another gentleman by the name of Jones. They created what's called an index. An index is something where you start tracking through numbers and it'll give you perspective. In other words, if you don't know what happened, you don't know what's going to happen. Okay? So they started this with, they give one, every company would have one share, and it started out representing $1. They started this in 1895. Okay? So the bottom line is, okay, good. So in 1929, those 30 companies the total was worth $300, $310. So 310 divided by 30, about $10 a company. $10 here, right? One share. Those same 30 companies, and if a company gets merged, if they merge or get bought out or go out of business, they take that and they put another company in there at the same value. Does that make sense? So when you take those 30 companies, that was $42.10, one share, $1 each, one share each. In 1929, those are the same companies today that you're talking about. That's 23,000. Okay? In 2000, well, just before they hit the buildings, that number was 12,000. When they hit the buildings up in New York, went through several years. When President Obama took over, the number had dropped all the way back to 6,500. Well, most people in America at that point would be like, scared to death. The world's going to end. We're not going to make any money. And I don't even know why they worry about it. They don't have money market anyway. I mean, if it all crashed, what good would it do? But what they don't understand is, it's not going away. How could it go away if you think about this? 80% of our money goes to those 30 companies. When people get paid, what do they do? Pay the mortgage and pay the rent. Isn't that where the money goes?
Mm-hmm.
How would they eat? They don't have any farms. Don't they have to go to Walmart or Publix to get groceries?
Mm-hmm.
Aren't the same companies that's selling them the wholesale goods at those companies? Don't they have a mortgage at one of the 5 or 6 big banks? Or a mortgage company that's owned by one of the 5 or 6 big, is that the way it works? Okay? Aren't the chemical products they buy Procter & Gamble right there in Ohio? I mean, how they gonna, that they leave home in the morning and they don't use a little Procter & Gamble products. Ain't nobody gonna be able to stand them all day. That's where it works, right? You understand? See, so what happens is in MyEcon, you're gonna get this capitalistic training that's gonna teach you how to operate in capitalism. See, most people, they grew up being trained to be socialists.
Mm-hmm.
They're trained to be a socialist. Here's what they're trained to be. Get your job, work your job, and down the road it's going to be all right, but it's a lie. It's not true. By the time you get a pay raise, inflation and taxes already ate that pay raise up. You're going to pay more taxes on W-2 money than you are on 1099 money or asset money. if I go out and I buy a piece of real estate and it go up, or I buy a stock and it go up, and I sell it and make a profit, I pay 15% taxes. But if I go out and work and make money, then I'm going to pay at 22, 23, 24, 25% in taxes. So if the working person is taxed more, make less, and only make money when they're working, how can they win? So a socialist would say, let's go ask them to change the rules and see if they'll give us something. That's dumb. People don't give away money and power. You got to say, let me learn the rules and go get me some money and power.
Right.
Nobody's going to give you that. And this is our time. And we can redirect some of our dollars from taxes and debt and income into assets where we own something. And then when every time somebody go down and buy some Listerine, we make money. Every time somebody pay their mortgage, we get paid. And then when everybody go down and put their money in the bank, we make money on it. And then when everybody's sitting around during the holiday and they say, woo, Wells Fargo, Chase, man, they got some high fees. And then you just kind of smile a little bit. You don't say it too loud until your high fees are high. It need to be we and us, right? We need to own some of it. Not just give our money to somebody else and hope they change, because they're never going to do that. People do not give away money and power. So real estate, these are assets. That's where a lot of your wealth is. Your assets are in the stock market. The stock market has always outperformed real estate and always will. Okay, the reason is because that's where the cash goes. The cash goes into the market first. Am I correct? Mm-hmm. Okay? Because when you buy something, that's going to a company that's where? On the market. Am I correct? So if the stock market went away, everybody starved to death between 9 March. Where would they eat at? They don't have any farms. They don't even know how to farm. They don't have any land. Is that a fact?
Mm-hmm.
And before you can get to getting rich, you got to first get to some facts mentally. So when people start talking that socialistic stuff, what I do is I just leave. Now when I was younger, I tell them all. But now I just leave. I'm like, woo, it's been fun. I really enjoyed this. But I got an appointment I got to get to. You know, I just got nicer, but I got older, right? I got a little wiser, so I don't argue about that. You can't change socialists, right? That's what they believe in. That's the guy, the pilot believe. I knew I didn't want to do that bullshit by the time I was 7 years old. My mom bought me candy. She bought a little small peppermint stuff. Don't you see that big Reese's cup over there? Don't you see that big Hershey bar with almonds?
Right.
Hey, you gave me a little piece of peppermint. Soon. As I get big enough, I'm going to make me some money and buy what I want. Don't follow that. I bought too much. I bought too much. But, so those inflation and the cost of living and capitalism raises the prices of things over the years. Prices are not going to go down. You want to know what Atlanta's going to look like in 20 years? Go to New York. You want to know what Atlanta's going to look like in 20 years? Go to San Francisco. It's going to keep going up. All right, so let's go back. So there's a formula called Rule of 72. Rule of 72 says divide 72 by the rate of return on your money and tell you how long it takes for your money to grow. Does that make sense? So if you had invested $1 in 1955 and left it there, remember, if you put it under your mattress and left it there, today it'd still be $1, right? You just wouldn't buy much with it. But if you'd done that in 1955 and invested it, it would double every 9 years. So in 9 years, it'd be 1964, it'd be $2. It just growing. If you didn't do anything to it. 9 more years, in 73, it would be $4. In 82, it'd be $8. In 91, it'd be $16. In 2000, it'd be $32. In 2009, it'd be $64. Today it'd be $128. Just breathe. So that's why in the Bible, where God talks about Deuteronomy 8 and 18, and there's many other places, he says he gives us the power to gain wealth. He didn't accidentally write wealth instead of money. Wealth is something that has the ability to appreciate or go up in value without you doing any work. That's what we're supposed to have. That's capitalism. Land, houses, ownership in companies. They go up in value without the owners doing any more work. So if somebody's kids are born and they have no assets, and somebody else's kids are born and they inherit a house, or they inherit multiple houses, or inherit a duplex or a small apartment complex or a store, that's not a fair race, is it? And we got to change that. What MyEcon was created to do. That's what I wanted in my life as a little boy. The Lord blessed me how to do it. I became wealthy in my 20s. And that's what we do in MyEcon. That's what we teach. And we're going to develop trainers and teachers all over Atlanta. We got them all over the country already. And go out and build wealth. See, you'll start making decisions saying, shoot, I'm going to buy me some shoes. I'm going to buy me some stock over there too. You know? See, I'm going to go to Vegas, but I'm going to buy me some Hilton stock too. And then when everybody going to Vegas, they'll be down there spending money at our hotel. Does that make sense?
Yep.
See, that's a different mindset. Everybody understand what money comes?
Yep.
Okay, all right. So, let's talk about our compensation plan, because that's a source of cash. So you're going to get cash in MyEcon through income shifting. Yes, sir. Yeah, you divide 72 by the growth or the rate of return of your money. So if your money is doubling it, and matter of fact, that's an excellent question. If your money is growing at 2%, so if you put your money in the bank, you get 2%. 72 divided by 2 is what? 36. So you put $2 in the bank, and in 36 years, put $1 in the bank, in 36 years, you have $2. So when somebody tells you to go put your money in the bank, either they don't understand. I mean, we understand why the bank said put your money in the bank. Because they're going to get your money and pay you 2%. They're going to take your money and go invest it somewhere and get 8 or 9%. That just makes good sense, doesn't it? Because doing that, because at 2%, it doubles every 36 years. So if I put it in the bank, in 36 years, I got $2. The bank took my dollar, and they invested. Well, if they got 9%, in 9 years, they got They got $2. In 18 years, they got $4. 27, it was $8. And in the the same 36-year period of time, they got $16.
And you got 2.
And you got 2. That's called capitalism. I capitalize on your money. So you would expect them to tell you, put your money in the bank because we're going to make sure you're all right. That would just make sense, wouldn't it? See, if you know how to play spades, or talk, bid with, you can get rich. Because you wouldn't go out there playing spades and just make a silly bid. Does that make sense? Not intentionally anyway. It's that simple. But see, what has happened is we've been taught a system that does not work. So if you apply that in your life over and over and over and over and over and over and over, how can you get a result other than you're supporting the other people and making them wealthy? And some people, I spent my whole life, I've been all over America. I moved to Atlanta. I moved back to Atlanta in 1994 to build Atlanta. But most of my business has been outside of Atlanta because I started in business in Seattle, Washington. Well, some people say, well, the other race in the white community, they know all this. That's not true. You got about 7 or 8% of them that know it. The rest of them, they don't have a dime either. Okay? As a matter of fact, probably MyEcon is probably 40% white today, and when we started, it was 99%. I was in Seattle. But, and when I was out there, I used to always say, man, I need to get back to Atlanta. Man, we got all those smart young brothers and sisters in Atlanta. If I show them how to get rich, then they'll take that thing off the chain. That's the reason I came back to Atlanta. But I've been traveling ever since I've been here, so I said, about a month ago, I said, I'm going to start building Atlanta. I'm not going anywhere this year. Well, I am going somewhere, but not much. I'm gonna be here at least 30 to 35 weeks out of this year, whereas I'm normally here about 4 or 5 weeks out of the year, and then by the time I get back, I'm tired, so I don't work in Atlanta, but we're gonna change all that. So, the bottom line is, that's why capitalism exists. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
See, when a person has poor credit, think about money and what it can become. Okay, so if somebody rent for 30 years, they didn't lose $200 or $300 a month. Hundreds of thousands. Okay, think about it. I got an auntie that bought a house in Washington, D.C. in 1949 for $12,000. 1425 Southeast 8th Street. 8th Street Southeast. $12,000. More than $107. House today is $775,000. Same house. Just like the ones on La Vista. They bought for 70, right? Well, guess what? If she rented during that same 30-year period of time, her rent would have gone up. So she would have paid more per house during that 30 years, right?
Mm-hmm. The rent go up every month.
Every month. Every month. Every year. So the rent go up,
Every year.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Plus, she would have lost $770,000 of equity.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody understand?
Yep.
You don't lose $200 or $300 a month, do you?
You lose the equity too.
You lose the equity.
Mm-hmm.
You can lose a fortune. See, I'm a church boy, right? I grew up in church. We got to change what we do, not just get excited about what we heard.
Right. That's a word.
We got to change what we do, not just get excited about what we heard. God already gave us power to gain wealth. He ain't getting ready to do it. He ain't going to turn it on January 2nd. He already did it. But God is based on principles. He set up principles. One of his principles is gravity. If you jump up in the air and you're not going over 25,000 miles per hour, gravity going to bring you back down to the earth and you're going to flop. There it is. That's a principle. That's gravity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Water is wet. Jump in and see, don't you get wet. Renting leads to poverty. Try it, see how it works out. Not investing leads to a struggle. Try it, see how it works. Show me somebody that never invested. I'll show you somebody been working 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. I love my pastor. My pastor's a good man. The man back about 10, 12 years ago, he'd always be saying, anybody want a better job, just come on up, I'm a perfect. And I'd be sitting there, and I'd be like, so I started praying for my pastor. Because he's a good man. He's a good man. He and his wife, well, they're good people. I love my pastor. Man, after about a year, he started saying, anybody want business, come on up here.
That prayer worked, didn't it?
He started getting some business owners around there. Everybody understand what I'm talking about? See, when you get a business, see, like, we got a young man in this business, Cedric Williams.
Woo!
3 years ago. Look, that's a little, woo, that's a real good.
He sponsored me. So
I
that's fine.
met Cedric February 2015 or 2016. So just shy of 3 years. I said, Cedric, you'll be a millionaire in 36 months. He said, See, if you got a rental property over here that's generating, if you got an apartment complex, and if it was paid for, and it was generating $10,000 a month in rents, that property worth $1 million. Not because that's what the building cost. Not because that's how much the wood and the panel and all that costs. No. Because it'll generate. See, the way you evaluate a property or the way you evaluate something is how much revenue can it generate without you working. Does that make sense? Whether that's stock, okay, or whether that's real estate or your MyEcon business, okay, like Netflix. Netflix is worth $100 billion. So they got 30 million members that pay $9.95 a month. And then the profit on that generates so that company is worth $100 billion, billion with a B. Okay? So when you go out and build your MyEcon business, if you've got a MyEcon business that's got, 1,500 people on it, and you get $8 a month, well, that's $12,000 a month. Your business worth $1 million. Your business worth $1 million. So here is the great misconception. We were taught that the way you make wealth is you go out and you work hard and you save your money, and down the road your savings is going to be worth $1 million. Is that correct?
No.
That's what we were taught, right?
Yeah, but this ain't right.
Okay, but that's not the way America was built. The wealth you see was not based on somebody working and saving. Working and saving is good. You should work. If you have a job, you should be thankful. And you should minimize your expenses and you should save some of that money. But it's never going to make you wealthy because it takes too long. The wealth that you see was created by the same principle that you see in Deuteronomy 8 and 18 where God says, I give you power to gain wealth. You can take your talent and your skill that God gave you for free and turn that into $1 million enterprise. Now let's get some examples. Where did craft foods come from? Somebody took some recipes of very little value, no cost at all, put it together, made some different foods, started selling them, and after the volume got up to a certain point, they had a multi-million-dollar business and eventually a billion-dollar business. Am I correct? Okay, where did Budweiser come from? Okay, the brewery. You took some recipes, okay, some ingredients that cost a little or nothing. Am I correct? And you made a drink called beer. You started to sell it. When sales get to a certain point, now you got a $1 billion business. Am I correct? Okay. Where did Madam C.J. Walker, who became a millionaire in 1907, where did she get her wealth? She put together some hair products, started to sell them, and pretty soon, even in the early 1900s, she was riding around a big old Cadillac. She would have more than enough. She was giving away money. She helped fund colleges. She built a factory in Indianapolis, Indiana. She built a mansion on the same Hudson River as the Rockefeller.
Hallelujah.
You see, when you know that, now you can start expecting. So when I was talking to Cedric, I'm like, hey, God already put the $1 million inside of you.
Yes, it did.
In the form of what we call a talent or a gift, but what God calls power. Which is authority and ability. You see, when you start recognizing that, then you know you can build a business. That business may be MyEcon, or it may be another business. But you start to recognize that you can build a business. Does that make sense? Everybody got that? MyEcon is just one aspect of that. It's just one scenario of that application. So when I was young, I went into business in the financial industry, And I started teaching finance to people, and as I built a team, and we started marketing products all over the country, guess what? I became wealthy. When Cedric went out and started talking to people about finance, how you can shift your W-4 and minimize your taxes and eliminate your debt and all that, and he went out, he got him a big group, guess what? And his income went to $25,000, $30,000 a month, residual income, he was a millionaire. Then take some of that money and also start investing in stocks and bonds and mutual funds, then that created more wealth. Everybody see how that's happening? Mm-hmm. See, without vision, people perish. Without vision, you can't get there. So whenever you teach classes and whenever you're talking about MyEcon, you got to put that whole scenario in there. You see? Because if it's just about, well, you know, you can sell some credit repair or you can recruit somebody and you make you some money, that's a hustle. Mm-hmm. They missed the whole point. The whole point is to generate revenue, generate revenue, and the business that you build becomes your wealth, and then to take some of that revenue and start buying stocks, bonds, real estate, and create more wealth. Does that make sense? Now, at the same time, we also take some of the money that we make on our jobs, minimize the taxes on that, and invest some of that money in the 401k, 403b, pension plan, and that also starts to generate some more wealth. Does that make sense? So everybody see what we're doing? Anybody got questions before we talk about the comp plan? All right, let's talk about the comp plan. Now you can ask questions. All the idea is for you to understand this so you can teach this. Does that make sense?
Right.
See, we'll have trainings here. We'll have great teachers and trainings all the time. But when you're talking to your team, you know, you got a conference call, you got a webinar, you got 2 people, 3 people, 5 people, whatever. When I started my meetings way